Matchup I'm definitely very, very excited to see here, Rod. Two not just talented individuals here in our sport, but from the perspective of full impact pro. While both guys have had good runs, most recently, the last time we saw these guys, Ridgeport Ayala coming up short against Sideshow, and Jake St. Patrick coming up short against Hunter Law back at Everything Burns end of March. But that's the thing, from the perspective of talent and records in general, both more wins than losses, but you got to think in the back of your head, full impact pro, man. You want to win here tonight. You want to right the ship. You know, the matchmakers are watching. It's a unique night. It's a chance to turn heads. And I think they both know it.
The educated feet of St. Patrick on display here early, but you're right. A big win like this is, you know, before you can put together a consecutive streak of victories, you got to win that first one. And I can't think of any better way, again, for either of these hold on a second. Bad intentions with that stomp, but nobody home.
Ayala, a former WWN Proving Ground champion himself, and of course Jake St. Patrick has held gold all over the world, looking to hold gold in full impact pro. And absolutely, Ron, the elevation of Jake St. Patrick's dropkick. Ridgeport Ayala is about 6'4" at least.
Yeah, Air St. Patrick. I can't even believe. Pinpoint right on the jaw. Ridgeport Ayala runs right into that back elbow. He's stunned. St. Patrick seizes the opportunity. Big drop kick right to the chest cover. Hooks the leg. Is that not enough? You're not going to beat Ridgeport Ayala. I don't say that easily, because that was one hell of an offensive flurry by Jake.
Jake St. Patrick always in the gym, always in a wrestling ring, continuing to get better. And of course, we've seen Ridgeport at WWN Proving Ground here at FIP, and those beautiful arm drags. You've talked about Thunder Championship Wrestling, how impressive Rich has been there, and hooking the leg. And of course, well documented, we've talked about Ridgeport, his debut in Japan at Wrestle 1. How many guys can say they debuted in our sport in Japan when you're a Gaijin?
Yeah, it's amazing. And, you know, I have talked to him about it. He says even he can't wrap his head around it. And he was the one that the story's about. But in FIP here, he's really established himself. Hold on, Jake St. Patrick
sweeping the leg over. You said it. He's got Ridgeport exactly where he wants him. Jake knows the man is taller, so let's get him set up for some kicks. Oh, took too long with the pop and circumstance. Second kick did hit. Could be it.
He missed with that first kick that I thought was going to take the head off Ayala, but then come right back around and kick him on the other side of the head.
As great as I criticized, I said Jake took a little too long with the wind-up, so to speak, but did hit the second one. Maybe the first one was a feint all along, and if whatever Jake's got in mind hits now, Rich could be out.
Oh, look, his eyes are just glazed over. Ridgeport Ayala on rubber leg straight. St. Patrick, look at the strength. Oh, Eaton, jaw, just pummeled by these elbows.
We saw a little bit earlier, not long ago, Ridgeport attempting that, what he used to call the Port Authority, now calling it the dump. He hits that, it's going to be over. And of course, Jake St. Patrick, ooh, call with a dragon screw by Ridgeport. That'll stop you. You can't walk if you don't have a leg.
Oh, the torque on the knee of St. Patrick, seeing he's having to use the ropes to pull himself. He's only got one good wheel right now. Ridgeport Ayala seizing the opportunity, but now he's the one eating the elbows at the side of his head.
Both athletes have definitely been evenly matched. Whoa, strength on display by Jake St. Patrick, and drop it into that boot, but you see the damage has been done to that leg already. Was it a mistake? Hook in the leg.
Sometimes you have to, I know this is impossible to tell an athlete right when they're in the middle of such a heated match, but sometimes you gotta think about living to fight another day. How much more punishment can that leg take?
I think right now, Jake is trying to get the blood flowing back in there, lining something up for Ridgeport. We got one of the most tenured officials in the entire world here, Jim Bragg, getting ready to call this thing. Is it the end? No! Caught the boot. Second one connects, been the story of the night for Jake St. Patrick.
Big enziguri. Was Ayala setting a trap? My God! Hooks the leg. Not enough.
What a match. Credit to Jake St. Patrick. That Uranagi, the height in which Bridgeport took Jake St. Patrick, dumping St. Patrick down. But amazingly, both athletes are still in this thing, but you can see the effects of this matchup.
Both men going through so much punishment, and the fans in Clearwater showing they appreciate talent on the rise, showing what they can do here in FIP. Is this going to be it?
Could have been a dump, but it was blocked by Jake St. Patrick, still showing the damage to the leg, but hits that spinning heel kick and hooks the leg. Oh, close.
It's truly shocking how high he can get and still get that type of, I mean, he nearly took his head off.
St. Patrick is an athletic specimen, Ron.
He's an athletic and an athletic freak.
And that's what I mean when I say pound for pound. One of the best, if not the best in our sport. The guy can go, I'm telling you right now. You give Jay St. Patrick a platform, and that could be what's happening here. He's gonna roll with it. I think Ayala's out on his feet. Oh. And Dub connects. Is this it? It is.
Here is your winner, Ayala.
What a match, Trevin. Hey, that's what I come to see. The good stuff.
That match, I'm telling you right now, that could have been a main event anywhere in the world of those two. Showing out here at Full Impact Pro, but Bridgeport just a little faster tonight.
Beautiful. You know what they call that, Trevin?
Tell me.
Professional wrestling.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Amen. Awesome matchup here. Jake St. Patrick gonna regroup. Definitely gonna live to fight another day. But you know there's gonna be that disappointment. Be interesting to hear from Jake St. Patrick a little later, but nevertheless.
You gotta love that guy.